Joseph Vissarionovich Stalin, born Iosif Vissarionovich Dze Jugashvili, Georgia, December 18, 1878, Kori, Russian Empire, March 5, 1953, Moscow, USSR, was a Soviet military and political figure of Georgian origin. While serving as General Secretary of the Communist Party of the Soviet Union, 1922 to 1953, and Prime Minister, 1941 to 1953, he established a one-party totalitarian system in the USSR and became a de facto one-man dictator. The political system and ideology created under his rule became known as Stalinism. Born in a poor family in the city of Kori, he studied at the Tbilisi Theological Seminary until 1898. In his youth, he joined the Marxist RSDLP and became a follower of Lenin. He edited the Bolshevik newspaper Pravda, participated in robberies, kidnappings, and extortion for the benefit of the party, for which he was repeatedly arrested and sent into exile. In 1912, he was elected to the Central Committee. After the Bolshevik coup, he became a member of the Politburo, and later held the posts of People's Commissar for Nationalities and State Control. During the Civil War in Russia, he acted as a special representative of the party in important areas of the front. In 1922, Joseph Stalin took the post of General Secretary of the CPSU, and after Lenin's death, he concentrated power in his hands, placed key supporters in key positions and expelled potential rivals and former allies. The concept of building socialism in a single country became a cornerstone party dogma during Stalin's rule. During the implementation of the five-year plans, the USSR experienced agricultural collectivization, accelerated industrialization, and the creation of a centralized command economy. Stalin's policy, based on the use of systematic repression and terror, led to the death of 3.9 million Ukrainian peasants during the Holodomor. Millions of Soviet citizens were imprisoned in gulag camps or evicted to remote areas, disarmed, etc. Sometimes entire nations were subject to deportations. Between 1934 and 1939, Stalin and his entourage organized the Great Terror to eliminate the enemies of the working class, in which more than 1 million people were imprisoned and 700,000 were executed by the secret police. In foreign policy, Stalin promoted the spread of Marxism-Leninism through the Communist International and supported the anti-fascist movement during the Spanish Civil War. In 1939, Stalin, driven by expansionist intentions, concluded a non-aggression pact with Nazi Germany. According to it, Soviet troops annexed western Ukraine, western Belarus, the Baltic countries, Bessarabia and Bukovina, and attacked Finland. Stalin failed to foresee the German invasion of 1941, causing the Red Army to suffer heavy losses in the initial phase of the war. The Soviet Union, mobilizing the patriotism of the people in the fight against Nazism and joining the anti-Hitler coalition, was able to repulse the attack, capture Berlin in 1945 and victoriously end the Second World War in Europe. During the post-war settlement, Stalin expanded Soviet influence in Eastern Europe, China, and North Korea. At the same time, the United States and the Soviet Union became hostile superpowers in the Cold War. Stalin initiated the post-war reconstruction of the country, monetary reform, the creation of a powerful military-industrial complex and helped transform the USSR into a nuclear superpower. In the late period of his reign, the country experienced another great famine, a wave of anti-Semitism and strict control over the cultural and intellectual life of the state. Joseph Stalin died in 1953 at the age of 74. He was replaced as Soviet leader by Nikita Khrushchev, who condemned his predecessor and initiated the process of de-Stalinization. Joseph Stalin is considered one of the most significant and at the same time the most controversial figures of the 20th century, having become the object of a fanatical cult of personality in the worldwide Marxist-Leninist movement during his lifetime. Only in the last years of its existence did the CPSU recognize the crimes against humanity committed under his regime, but refused to take responsibility for them. After the collapse of the Soviet Union, Joseph Stalin retained some popularity in Russia and Georgia. At the same time, his totalitarian government was condemned for violations of fundamental human rights and freedoms, mass repressions, ethnic cleansing, hundreds of thousands of executions, and famine, which killed millions of people.